Okay, so 5 things that every couple can do to help their relationship be more successful. The first one I would say, and this is something that's very difficult for a lot of people, pray together every single day. And a lot of people might be rolling their eyes, blah. Well, let me tell you why people roll their eyes at that. It's because they struggle with their own personal prayer life. And when you struggle with your own personal prayer life, boy, it's hard to pray with somebody else. And the other reason people do that is because their first reaction is, oh my gosh, this is the most intimate thing I do. And I agree, the 2 most intimate things 2 people can do together are have sex and pray together. Just the 2 of you. Because it's a personal place, me and God. This is where prayer happens. And so to allow one other person to enter into that space, it's very intimate, which is why married couples need to be doing it. Because if there's anything that a married couple should do together, it's be intimate. And be intimate in the ways that you would be emotionally. You want to be intimate with somebody. Intellectually, you want to share your thoughts with somebody else. Physically, you want to be intimate with another person in your sexual life. But you also want to do so in your spirituality. So you want to have this intimacy with this other person. So the first one I'd say is pray together. The second thing I would say is work on communication skills. Now everybody hears this all the time. You have to have a successful relationship. You have to communicate well. Well, I'll give you some concrete tools in communication. Number 1 is learn how to fight fair. Don't go making some wild accusations when you're having a disagreement. Try to keep your voice down as much as possible. Don't call people names. That's one of the things, because when people feel hurt, what do? They lash out at somebody else, and then they might bring up an old grudge, or they might, So what I say by fight fair is, first of all, you got to be careful about how you disagree with another person. You say you love this person, why would you want to hurt them then? And I think what happens is in our own brokenness and our own problems and our issues, we bring this up with another human being, and lo and behold, what ends up happening, I want to hurt somebody else because I'm hurt. Or I want to lash out because I feel like they're hurting me right now. Well, that never helps anything. So I would say humble yourself in these arguments and disagreements and say, I'm sorry and I was wrong. And when you do apologize, I'm going to teach everybody out there how to apologize right now because I had to learn this. This is how you say it. When you've done something wrong, you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and then you shut up. Because what ends up happening is we always make excuses. Oh, I'm sorry, but you did, da, 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 da. Well, now you're not apologizing, you're blaming it on the other person. And everybody has done this before. But the way to apologize is, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And now when you say, please forgive me, what ends up happening? It's their choice, it's their impetus, and they're the decision maker, not you. I'm not the one who gets to say, oh, okay, you get to forgive me. No. And then it's humbling because you have to say, oh, gosh. So the first thing, pray together. The second thing is fight fair. The third thing I would say to young people who want to really improve their relationships is use natural family planning. Natural family planning, the statistics show that people rarely get divorced. It's less than 10% of the couples who use natural family planning get divorced. That they have more success rate in happier marriages. That they actually have more sex together. And that they're just overall generally more satisfied with their relationships. Now, of course, it isn't just because of natural family planning. And natural family planning, as I tell people all the time, does come with a cross because it does have issues that it raises, self-control issues and other problems. But it also, by carrying a cross and a blessing at the same time, together as a couple, you will grow together. You absolutely will grow together. And you'll come to see that life of your children and your fertility are blessings that God has given you in this marriage. And that's part of the point of marriage. And so natural family planning comes with great gifts, but it also comes with great sacrifice. And that's what anything that's worth it comes with in marriage. The fourth thing I would say is go to church every Sunday together. Do not ever let it fail, because the mantra of a couple who prays together stays together is very true, but it has to also have the communal dimension of the wider community in our parishes. And Mass is something that should not be optional for Catholics. And that's part of that prayer that we already talked about. And building on that, I would say go to confession at the same time as a family. So everybody in the family who gets to go to confession, go once a month. And it's a powerful, powerful witness to walk in first the wife or first the husband and then following the other spouse, one spouse and then the next, because you see, I'm a sinner, they're a sinner, and we're in this together, but guess what? God is placed right in the middle of this relationship and God's in charge. And the fifth thing I would say is, so we have pray together, we have fight fair, work on communication, go to mass, using natural family planning. All of these things, the last thing I would tell for a tip for young couples is make sure that your faith life is something you never stop working on. Don't be satisfied with where you're at. So if there's an opportunity for you to grow in faith as an individual or as a couple, take advantage of it. So things like retreats, prayer groups, Bible studies, young adult groups, young married couples groups. Maybe there's not a lot offered at your parish. Well, maybe it's an opportunity for you to start something. What our church needs are leaders, young leaders in our church. And go grab other young couples who have, who are like-minded and say, let's start something together, let's build something together. And that kind of wider community and nurturing of the faith life really helps the marriage itself, because you see, oh, well, I know this young couple and they also have these issues or they have these problems, and to see that other couples can share the burden of life is really a blessing. And so those are some of the tips I'd probably give to young couples for success in their relationships.